Hello everyone, hope you're well. It's Imogen here from HR for Early Years, Managing Director of Red Wing Solutions. As you can tell, we've got the corporate PowerPoint open this morning. Yesterday was deadline day in the football transfer market, and those of you that know us know that in our family we do like our football. So it was one of the shows that we were watching yesterday evening and paying close attention as to what clubs had signed what players. So bear a thought for all of those football clubs today, whether they're in the Premiership, Championship, League One or League Two, that we'll be doing one thing today, and that's inductions. And if you're Nottingham Forest, and if you know, that's a lot of inductions. And you can just imagine, can't you, the induction of a new player from a new club was going to require a lot of the same thing to be repeated. It's going to be, showing somebody where everything is, introducing them to their teammates, introducing them to the management, where they go for different bits and pieces. And it'll be very similar to the inductions that will happen in businesses across the land. Now, I've been reading a book recently which tells me about how to create memorable moments. And an induction is, or can be, a memorable moment. So I would ask yourself this question as we start September 2022. Are you creating memorable inductions, or are they highly forgettable inductions? And therefore, you're not aiding your ability to integrate new starters into your team, just as the football manager needs to integrate his new players into his squad. So what we can do to create memorable inductions? Well, I've got a few ideas for you this morning. First of all, what about having a banner in reception where you show that you are welcoming a new starter today? There's lots of different ways you can do this, isn't there? If you think about when you go to a hotel, the events, you'll look to see which floor it's on and which room has been in, whether it's a wedding reception or a party. It'll say, today we welcome so-and-so in this room. Can you do something similar for your nursery setting, so that when somebody turns up, their name is up in lights, and that's particularly important. If their name is something that needs to be, it's spelt differently to how it sounds, or it's a name that they particularly like it spelt in a particular way. We've had Amy's with 2 I's this week, and Amy, it's really important to get an Amy's name right. You don't want to get her name wrong before she's even set foot in the door. So having that up on display, it also tells your parents that there's a new member of staff starting today, and they will then perhaps, be able to welcome them as part of the extended nursery team. So it's a really good idea, some kind of banner, some kind of sign. It can be as simple as an A3 frame that you change out that sits on your reception desk, or it could be one of those A1, A0 boards, isn't it, that goes outside. That could be what you do, and you can make it as lovely and beautiful as you would wish. So that's a really good way to create a memorable experience. You've turned up for work on the first day and they're welcoming you because they've put this sign out the night before. What about a letter or an email from the owner welcoming them to the team? So particularly this is important for multi-site operations, where they won't actually get to hear from you until they meet you face to face, which might be in a few days, weeks, or even longer. So why not write them a letter that comes from you that says welcome, and that you're so pleased that they've joined your team, they've made that decision to join your team, and set out in that letter about the vision and purpose that you have for your business. You can set out your ethos. You can, explain to them that they've made a really fantastic decision, and that they're going to be really looked after. You might mention about what's going to happen next, but something like that can be really memorable. Imagine getting a letter from the boss, the big boss, on the first day, when you're not going to get to meet them in person, when they're not there to greet you as one of the first people to see you through the door. Again, it's going to be very memorable. It's going to be very meaningful. My next idea is, what about a card and a small welcome gift? We think about giving people gifts when they've reached retirement. We think about leaving gifts. We think about perhaps gifts linked to service. But what about a gift on your first day? Again, one of the things that I remember from being a new starter, and it has been a long while since I was anyone's new starter, but I remember thinking things like, will I need to take my own mug? What will happen when it comes to me having a drink? You can tell I'm coffee obsessed and have been for a very long time. But what if you gave somebody a welcome gift that was a simple mug, when they joined your nursery. It could be that you get something personalised with their name on, and again, the price of that has come down so much, hasn't it, in recent years? So that it's not a significant amount of money. Or you could just get them a pretty mug, or an attractive mug, male or female. You can get them something that's nice that they will be happy to have a drink from, because everyone would prefer to have a drink from their mug than have perhaps a mug that then anyone else has. So again, what can you do to make them feel welcome? A nice mug and a chocolate bar as a welcome gift doesn't need to cost the earth. And again, you can have little cards made that say, welcome to the nursery, we're so pleased you're here, love the team, and again, all these little things make the difference, don't they? What about their colleagues coming up to them and introducing themselves during the day? Again, the fact that you've had this banner, this notice, even if somebody doesn't work in a particular room, they may well have seen the banner on arrival. What if they're all encouraged to, at points of the day, go and say, hello to the new starter, rather than waiting for the new starter to sort of attend a staff meeting or to go into their room? What about making sure that everyone else makes sure that they come and say hello to the new starter during the day? And that opportunity is taken, and it's part of your welcoming them into your setting. And finally, what about assigning a buddy or a mentor? I think whilst that's important to make sure that they know who they can come to, who they can ask questions of, who's going to have the time for them. That's important. It might also be that that's the person that also perhaps has a lunch with them at the same time on their first day. So again, people are nervous, aren't they, about sitting alone in the staff room eating their sandwiches. And wouldn't it be nice to be able to get to know your new colleagues from day one? And if you do all of these things, and they're just ideas, you can do some or all of them to the degree you feel in your business. Absolutely everything should be personable. The more you can make it memorable, the more impact it will make. And as I said earlier, if you're a footballer today and you've turned up at a new squad and you don't really speak the language and you've had to have all this pulling and shoving as someone's done a medical before they've even asked you to sort of put the kit on, your questions today are going to be, are they going to be nice to me? Are they going to talk to me? How will I know what they want me to do? How will I know what they want me to do next? And that's no different if you join a day nursery, a preschool, or an after school club. So the more we can do to make people feel part of our team, part of our pack, the better. I hope you found that really useful. And if you need anything, you know where we are. Bye-bye.